double check, make sure it wasn't the one for Haskell County. All right, we're going to put a track on this circulation now, crossing Highway 2 as we speak. It'll be near the Stigler area at 12:20 and Keota at 12:46. Again, I want to emphasize it's moving really slowly. So you're probably wondering, hey, it's on the eastern edge of the viewing area. It's going to cross soon. No, this is something we've been watching, I'd say, since about 10:15. As soon as I finished my interviews with Living Oklahoma, we've had our eyes on this line of storms. So far, this one has stood out the most, right, with a more intense circulation. Most of the other circulations along this line of storms has been a bit more on the broader side. So not enough to warrant a tornado warning, just enough to make sure all eyes are on this line. Let's take a little bit of a closer look at some of the other parts of this line segment of storms. We'll clear out this area. And so far, this seems to be the most intense circulation, potentially a circulation near Dutchess Landing and south of Shekoda. If you remember, that was the original tornado warning. You may be wondering, hey, weren't we tracking this area near Shekoda and Rentisville? We were. Looks like the circulation broadened out enough to not need that tornado warning. Still a location we'll be watching. Likely some gusty winds moving into the Dutchess Landing, Shekoda area, getting ready to cross Highway 40 near Highway 69 as well, and eventually we'll move past the Warner area. Let's take a little look farther south, because the farther north we go, not so much in the way of the ingredients needed for these stronger rotations. Maybe we're seeing a little bit of lightning here, not an instance for rotation, but just something to keep an eye on near the Wilburton and Damon area. And again, remember, we have these tornado warnings to the south and east that are really close to our viewing area near the Pushmataha County. And so this is what they're looking at. Again, far away from the radar. Not going to give a real good look, but it looks like potentially maybe two circulations within Pushmataha County. And the only reason why I'm looking at this here, you may be wondering, this isn't in our viewing area. Well, it could be in our viewing area very quickly. So we want to make sure we know what's coming our way. That could make it into Clayton, crossing Highway 271, and eventually into the Talihina area, which is just on the far bottom of our viewing area here in Green Country. So we'll keep an eye on that far southern tornado warning to see if that'll be extended into our viewing area. Otherwise, we're just watching this line of storms. So here's the entire line. It's been slowly moving across the Red River. It didn't start to move northeast until it made it into Green Country. The better ingredients for severe weather from now until early this evening, 5, 6, maybe 7 o'clock the latest, will be along I-40 and south to the Red River. So that's why we are seeing now these tornado warnings be issued as we get closer to lunchtime, because, well, these storms are finally able to tap into those better ingredients like higher wind shear. The greatest wind shear I could find east and southeast, so that would be LaFleur and into McCurtain counties. But overall, we haven't had too much in the way of wind shear. Instability, rather low for the most part, but it's really maximized in our far eastern and southeastern portion of the state. So that's why we're seeing continued tornado warnings as we go forward. Likely this may be extended if we don't see this circulation kind of weaken as we go forward. So Chief Meteorologist Kevin Coskren, he's tracking the storms with me. Kevin, it's good to see you this early afternoon. What have you been seeing so far since you jumped in?
You got it, Joy. I appreciate you being out there. And, you know, we've got a couple of tornado warnings. One, as you know, was just canceled. This is a situation where we've got the tornado watch until 5 o'clock. It's not just the threat for severe weather here as far as wind and tornadoes. It's going to be the flash flooding. I mean, we could have some areas that are going to be under flash flood emergencies moving forward here. We already have seen that south of Oklahoma City. If you see what's happening out there right now on the BA Expressway, we are dealing with it here, folks. If you don't need to travel this afternoon, we recommend that you stay in, because we've had inches of rain here so far, and that's what we're going to continue to see here through the afternoon. Now, there are waves and waves here, and boy, as I see what's happening with the velocity data, let's come back to the velocity data for the Haskell County tornado warning, because that's an impressive couplet right there. It's a very impressive velocity couplet. As this storm moves its way to the northeast towards Stigler, You guys need to be in your shelters right now. And as Joy had mentioned, these tornado warnings that we've had, we had one down near Hugo earlier, down near the Red River, and Push County, and also now into Haskell County. Anywhere from, say, Haskell County, especially southward, we've been seeing these spin-ups. Now, this one's very impressive. Still a good rotational couplet right here. So you need to be in your shelter as this storm moves to the northeast. They've been slow-moving storms, at times only 15 miles an hour in forward motion. So sometimes when they're slow movers, they have a little bit of time to develop and to get a little bit stronger, which is concerning, of course. So if you do live in this zone right here, that's the location that's moving to the northeast. So once again, folks, you know what to do when you get a tornado warning. You got to get to the lowest level, away from windows, because oftentimes these tornadoes can rip off the roof of a house. When that happens, the walls come in, and if you're not in a room that's away from the sides of your house, the walls could literally fall on you. It's a scary situation. So there are reasons why we say to get to the lowest level in an interior room away from windows. Right here south of Briartown, east of Hug Heart, we've got that couplet right there. I'm going to check out I got to put up the interaction here so I'm able to pick these if I want to. Okay, so yeah, there we go. I believe this is probably if I can loop this right here. Is it going to let me loop it? No, it's not going to let me. All right, that's interesting. Oh, this is 2. Yeah, this is weather 2, but for some reason I'm able to move this thing back and forth, but I'm not able to choose the individual items here, which is fine. I can still zoom in on this. It looks like severe thunderstorm warnings are being issued here for areas surrounding these this one tornado warning right here. So this whole area right here, I do want to switch it. If I can switch it over to, there we go, switch it over to the reflectivity. I'm going to probably pull up the Fort Smith reflectivity. This whole line right here, Chakotah to Stigler, all the way down to Clayton, that's producing severe wind, 60-mile-an-hour straight line gusts, and possible probably penny-sized hail located here as well. This whole line of storms is moving east. So if you live in Gore, Salisaw, Podo, eventually Talahaina, this whole line of storms is going to be impacting you with the severe wind within the next hour. Now, within that line of storms here, which you see moving to the east, we've got these spin-ups, and one of them was in McIntosh County just minutes ago, and the circulation kind of weakened, so that warning was canceled for a tornado. But we do have a tornado warning right now for Haskell County, and we'll put it back to the base velocity, because that's where you can really see what's happening with the circulation. Okay, the circulation here is still showing the definite rotation here, just over Whitfield. That location here is where there would be a tornado right there. If there's one on the ground, and I believe it's still Doppler indicated, it would be located right over Whitefield, I should say, as it moves towards Stigler. So this circulation may be broadening just a bit, which obviously would be a good thing, because when the circulation gets broader, that allows perhaps the chance for an individual tornado. That chance will lessen for it to happen. But when it tightens up into like a ball, like one piece of red next to one piece of green, like right there, that's when you know you've got a tornado. We don't have that right now. We do have the tornado warning, but the most recent scan out of the Fort Smith radar, which isn't too far away from this location, we're seeing definitely still a rotating thunderstorm, and the rotating thunderstorms are the ones that will produce tornadoes. But this is a situation where south of Whitefield, you got to be in your shelter. Stigler, I'm sure you're already in your shelter. You know what to do. Joy, you've got an update.
Yes, I wanted to talk about, we can see here that the tornado warning has been extended into Haskell County. So now this goes until 12:45. Originally that was for 12:15. And we're watching storm motion is increasing slightly. The original tornado warning for that storm showed storm motion at 25 miles per hour. Now we're up to 35 miles per hour. And I just wanted to show you the counties that are still in this tornado watch that's set to expire until 5. Likely as this main line of storms moves out, we may see those counties out to the west, Pittsburgh County, for example, be allowed to expire from this tornado watch. But in the meantime, this tornado watch will at least go for Sequoyah and LaFleur counties for the next couple of hours.
You got it, Joy. And we know that that threat for tornadoes is going to eventually move east before 5 p.m. So, as you said, they'll start to drop some of the counties from the watches. Pittsburgh could be first with the heaviest of the weather to your east now. And we've definitely got that area of circulation, enough of a circulation right here, so that because of the fact that that circulation is still there, the Weather Service is saying, okay, we're going to reissue that warning. Now, Red Hill, Garland, Iron Bridge, and Stigler, you're in the threat here. You're in the threat zone for a potential tornado within the next 30 to 45 minutes. Now, at this current rate of speed, we are going at 25 miles an hour to the northeast. If we track that storm, some of your town names will come up for us here to give you just an idea of how much time you've got before this potential tornado would move into your neighborhood. Areas outside of Stigler at 1225, so you've got 10 minutes if you live in Stigler for the potential of a tornado to be impacting your community. If you live in a mobile home, you need to abandon that mobile home and get to a safe shelter, a predetermined shelter, friend or neighbor or sturdy building nearby where you can go, because a mobile home is not safe in a tornado. Then eventually making its way through the eastern portions of Haskell County on down the road there into 1254. So about 40 minutes from now, making its way all the way to the edge of the warning box. So it's going to take about 40 minutes for it to get all the way to the edge here, Keota and similar areas. So again here, folks, it's an impressive velocity couplet. It's a tornado warning which has been extended now in time and distance. Stigler, you are right in the threat zone here. Within 10 minutes, Stigler, you need to be within 10 seconds, you need to be in your shelters. You probably already are if you live in Stigler, because this is a dangerous situation here as we track an area of rotation capable of producing a tornado to the northeast at 25 miles an hour. And within minutes, you're going to be impacted here by a potential tornado. As Joy mentioned, we have a tornado watch in place until 5 o'clock. And most likely, this storm system, once it moves east, the atmosphere behind it won't be as ripe for more tornadoes to form. That's probably more the case in Pittsburgh County. Pittsburgh County around the western edge of the watch. You're in a little bit better spot here than everybody else to your east, because we've been seeing these tornadoes form around Hugo, northward into Pushmataha County, and eventually now into Haskell County, and they've been forming more than once, and McIntosh earlier too. So there's still the threat for more of these tornadoes to spin up here as this whole line of storms moves east. I want to also remind you that this is not the only threat zone imminently for severe weather. We know that a couple counties north and a couple counties south of Haskell, there's severe thunderstorm warnings for this advancing line of storms. Those storms are producing 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and torrential rain. And we don't want to sleep on the torrential rain, because now it's official. I know Oklahoma City has gotten their wettest April on record after another 2 to 3 inches of rain over the last couple of days. Here in Tulsa, we're top 5 for wettest April on record. And that number, we may be closer to 1 now. We've checked the recent numbers, but look at that right here. This circulation is tightening. You see that little brighter, lighter green there. That's a strong indication of rotation right here. So that area has shifted just a little bit to the east as it moves towards Stigler. So you are literally minutes away in Stigler from a potential tornado impacting your community. And that's a dangerous situation. Every time there's a tornado warning, we got to get to our shelter. You know you have a plan. And Joy, what do you got?
Yeah, I wanted to talk more about the severe thunderstorm warning that really encompasses this entire line, which of course also includes this tornado warning. So the severe thunderstorm warning goes until 1 o'clock for portions of Leflore County into Haskell, as well as Sequoyah and Muskogee counties. Of course, we've been watching this line of storms all morning long for the threat of 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, as well as the quick spin-up tornado variety. That's of course what we're seeing now with this strong circulation. Still haven't had any word of confirmation for this tornado warning, is saying it's on the ground or that matter, but the circulation has been pretty, I'd say, pretty robust as we've been watching it. You know, there is a good indication it could be on the ground. However, I did want to do a tracker really quick on this line of storms as it's slowly edging into our far southeastern counties. So we'll We'll do this rough track here as it's moving to the northeast at 40 miles per hour. And so for folks near the LaFleur area, it'll be near you at 1221, Hughes at 1223, Panther at 1224, McCurtain at 1227, Carlisle at 1231, and Keota at 1233. So although we only have one tornado warning, this entire line has the capability of producing these quick spin-up tornadoes. So folks who are in these counties or near these towns need to stay vigilant of this line of storms, as we could be tracking potentially more than one tornado warning as we go over the next hour. I also want to mention that these storm motions are so slow. Although that entire line may be moving to the northeast at 40 miles per hour, still these individual circulations like the one associated with the tornado warning in Haskell County, that's only moving to the northeast at 35 miles per hour. We've seen storm motions as slow as 25 miles per hour. So likely we're going to continue to have to watch this line as we go forward, Kevin, through this early part of the afternoon.
You got it, Joy. Now that I've got that updated speed, I'm going to do another track here for this, for the tornado warning impacting possibly Stigler imminently. Stigler at 1223, that is minutes from now. Eventually Keota at 1243. So folks, we've got it's a serious situation. We've got the tornado warning here until 1245. That's for another 25 minutes or so. And this has already been extended one time because the circulation has been with us now for more than 20 to 25 minutes. So now the warning itself has been extended out. So we're tracking the center of circulation of this storm. It's a supercell thunderstorm with a rotating mesocyclone. Those are the ones that'll produce tornadoes. So that's when the Weather Service issues these warnings. Oftentimes it's done by the computer and the radar. It sees the rotation here and boom, the warning gets issued. It's just automatic. Stigler, you're under the threat here right now imminently for the potential of a tornado. These storms themselves have been moving between 25 and 35 miles an hour to the northeast. And we've got several weather hazards that we're dealing with for the rest of this afternoon, not just with this particular tornado warning, but we know the entire area of green country is under a flood watch. Additional inches of rain could still fall between now and late tonight. And we're going to be end up having river flood warnings for many areas across green country. We know we have several river flood warnings in Tulsa County and Osage County as well. But as far as this velocity couplet right here, this is a serious situation with an area of rotation that could at any moment produce a tornado. It's right over Stigler. It could be impacting Stigler right now. We know we're watching the weather wires to make sure that no spotters or chasers are seeing anything as far as ground truth. Sometimes with a situation like this, it might be a little bit more difficult to see because this isn't just one storm. This is a line of thunderstorms, so there's a lot going on there. There's a lot of other factors to consider when you're trying to see what is going on as far as a tornado. There's a lot of rain down there and wind as well. So you can't always see what you want to see when you're a chaser or spotter when you've got this bowing line of thunderstorms. But yeah, the area of rotation is clear right here over Stigler as this possible tornado moves to the northeast at 35 miles an hour. Everyone needs to be in their shelter. I've been to several schools lately to talk to them about severe weather safety. I asked them to raise their hand. What do you have in your shelter? Bike helmets comes up a lot, and mattresses is another thing that people use. Some people will take a mattress and shield off their room with it and put it over their also over their bathtub and get under it. I mean, these mattresses they're becoming more popular for people to protect themselves from tornadoes. So the bike helmets are good, obviously, for any kind of debris in the air that starts flying around. If, God forbid, your house gets hit with a tornado, you need to be ready to protect yourself and your family. Step one, you have to have the proper shelter. If you don't have an official shelter, you want to make sure you're in the lowest level of your home. If you have a basement, great. The interior room away from windows. And that's step one. Then you want to make sure you've got all the other things you need in that shelter in case you take a hit. You need the supplies and the things to keep you safe, like the bike helmets and things of that nature, flashlight with batteries in case you lose power. So yeah, all these things, we're talking about worst case scenario, obviously, but you need to prepare for these things because you live in Oklahoma and it's severe weather season. April and May are the two busiest months for tornadoes, and it's not even close. And we are right in the middle of that 2-month period. We've already seen more than 25 tornadoes in the state this year. And, you know, we hope this isn't an official tornado here, but we can zoom in a little bit on it just to get a closer look on the rotation. Still tracking that rotation at its current rate of speed. It'll be making its way. The rotation may be broadening a little bit here as you look at the velocity data. The red is going away from the radar. The green is going toward. And we're looking at the Fort Smith radar, which is northeast of this. So just picture the radar is picking up the winds coming like this and coming like this. So that means there's rotation right there. So that's where you have the rotating thunderstorm. Those are the ones that produce the tornadoes. It's simple math here when you look at this velocity data. It tells you the direction the winds are going. So you got winds coming like this, you got winds coming like this, you got the circulation, and the Weather Service is on top of it as always. I believe this is the 3rd or 4th tornado warning that's been issued just in the last couple of hours across southeastern Oklahoma. We had one in McIntosh County about a half hour ago that the circulation died out, so that was allowed to expire. But now we've got this Haskell County tornado warning, which doesn't seem to want to go away here, and we won't either until it does. So we've got areas around Stigler. Look at that, a little bit of a broadening of the rotational area there. So that could be a good thing. It could be a sign we might be losing a little bit of the rotational characteristics of this particular area of that line of thunderstorms. And again, that line of thunderstorms stretches probably about 100 miles from north of Haskell County all the way down south toward the Red River. There's a bowing line of storms producing damaging winds and possible tornadoes because we're in a tornado watch. So the flooding downpours, that's going to be a problem for us as well. A lot of weather hazards. I know just driving here in Tulsa, you got to take it slow on the roads. I mean, we're still under a flood advisory for the entire Tulsa metro. So yeah, we've got, I think we may have an update from Joie on this. Oh no, we got the flash flood alerts. Yeah, were you going to go on this one, Joie?
I was, yeah.
Okay.
He pulled up my screen here. So you're
Gotcha.
speaking of flooding and driving and really across green country, we see a slew of flood alerts, whether they're flash flood warnings, flood advisories, and of course the broad scale watches that go until late tonight. So really any travel across green country is going to be an issue as more rain continues to fall across the area. Of course, we're not only tracking the greatest chance for severe weather south and east of I-40, we're also looking for the heaviest rainfall to fall in those areas as well. And that's why we have this moderate risk for excessive rainfall for folks south of Muskogee all the way down into McCurtain County. We're still going to have another hour or two of this light to moderate showers within the Tulsa area due to this whole system tracking to the east, and of course showers continuing to move up from the south as well. So we know we're done with the rain late this evening into the overnight. Few showers existing early Thursday. We're dry Thursday, and then we've got more rain coming Friday morning through the afternoon before everything slides south and east, and then we finally get to our dry weekend. So from now until Friday, we're looking at an additional, and this is at the very lowest end, 1 to 3 inches of rain, if not locally higher amounts. Folks today have already seen 5 inches of rain since late last night, on top of the rain we had the day before. So flooding concerns will continue as we go through the rest of our evening today, and as we go into the Friday morning commute, as well as heavy rain may also be a concern with a limited or isolated wind and hail threat at the very least for the Friday morning storms continuing southeast into the afternoon and evening. Kevin, so far they've continued the tornado warning. They haven't extended it, but they still have an expiration time of 12:45. I know the last time we were looking at velocity data, it showed more of a broadening trend or a weakening trend. So it's impressive on reflectivity, but overall we're going to have to continue to watch it as it still appears a bit more on the broader side near the Stigler area.
Yeah, you got it. And I was just reading the Weather Service discussion and kind of what we were just saying here, Joy, that we know there's been a little bit of weakening in the circulation. It's getting a little bit broader. You're not getting that couplet right with the red and green ball right next to each other. It's a little broader, but as you mentioned, the tornado warning continues now until 12:45. So another 20 minutes or so. We've kind of expanded the list of town names. You can see where your town is and how long you'd have to prepare for this potential tornado as it moves to the northeast at 35 miles an hour. Again, there have been several tornado warnings with this line of storm. So if you live in Haskell County, Sequoyah County, Latimer, LaFleur, those are some of the counties in our viewing area that moving forward over the next couple of hours, we're going to be possibly dealing with more of this. As these storms roll east. Sometimes the circulations will really tighten up and they'll give you that tornado warning. Then they'll broaden out a bit after like 10 or 15 minutes, and then the threat kind of goes down a bit. But we still have the threat for a tornado to form at any time with this storm right over Stigler. That's where you probably get some really heavy weather right now. We're talking heavy downpours, gusty winds, the threat for a tornado. So they're battening down the hatches here in Stigler to Garland to Red Hill. And eventually Harrison, with this storm moving east, moving to the northeast at 35 miles an hour. Tornado warning again to get your bearings straight till 12:45. And there's the towns and the times that you'd be impacted. And again here, folks, as we move through this afternoon, we've had a lot of days in a row now of the threat of severe weather. It's getting a bit monotonous. We know that. And this is the time of year where it does. Day after day, you've got a threat of either wind or tornadoes or flooding. And as Joie mentioned, that threat for all of those things is going to continue for the next couple of hours, especially in our southeastern viewing area. But as we head toward later tonight and Thursday, the threat for severe weather goes down. I'd be very surprised if we got any severe wind or hail or any tornado threat tomorrow at all, or Friday. So Thursday and Friday, we can put all this stuff in the rearview mirror at least for a couple of days before the next round moves in, probably sometime next week. So this is kind of the end here of the last day, if you will, of several days in a row of the threat for severe weather with flooding and tornadoes and everything else that comes with it. There's the circulation. We're tracking it just to the northeast of Stigler now as it moves to the northeast. If you live in this zone, if your town is on that list, you need to be in your shelter, and there's more than one reason that you need to be. One is the obvious one. If a tornado forms, you got to be safe, and you got to keep your family safe. The other one is this is good practice for you. Even if we don't get a tornado, you may have a situation where you got the family together and maybe things didn't go right, and we thought we had our water in our shelter, or we thought we had this, or we wanted to have this. Then you'll know for the next time how you want to do it better. You know, they do the analysis of a situation after it happens. Well, we wanted this to go better. Thankfully, we didn't get a tornado, but next time we'll be ready. So that's another reason why every time there's a tornado warning, you got to do your plan. Whether you're at work, home, or anywhere else, you have to know where to go to keep you and your family safe. So hopefully everybody's in their shelters right now. If you live in that portion of Haskell County from Stigler to the north and east, as this storm, which could produce a tornado at any moment, continues to move to the northeast at 35 miles an hour. The circulation has broadened just a bit, but there's still definitely an area of circulation. Red Hill at 12:47. Star, you would be impacted at 12:53. The warning expiration time is 12:45. So we're going to keep this warned box up here to see if that changes. But as of now, the expiration time of this tornado warning is 12:45. Now, even if we do get to 12:45 and it does expire, we know we've got that watch. The tornado watch continues for areas around Haskell, Latimer, even Pittsburgh County, and Sequoyah County, LaFleur, McIntosh. Those are the counties that are still going to be under the threat here for the next couple of hours for situations like this, for tornado warnings, for the potential of tornadoes. So make sure you have your safe place to go to keep you and your family safe. And in the middle of the day like this, we know that right now at schools, they're doing their safety plans. And that's another, it kind of reminds me that not all schools in Oklahoma have tornado shelters. And I think all of them should. So hopefully if you're a school administrator or someone who can make that happen, you can work to do it, because there are ways to get tornado shelters in your schools. The town of Joie has done it. That's one. The town of Gore has done it as well. So they've got the blueprint. If you want to contact them, they'd be happy to help you out on how to do that for your school for a tornado shelter. Joie, the circulation has broadened a bit, but we still have it here. What do you got for us?
Yeah, I just want to draw attention again to the whole line that's still severe thunderstorm warned, and that goes until 1 o'clock. So that is for folks south of Muskogee, near the Shakota area to Porham, obviously Stigler and Kyoto, where we're tracking the potential tornado, down to Red Oak and Worcester and Tallahena, over to Panama. Now, overall, this line of storms can produce 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and has a history of producing 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts since early this morning. We haven't seen any indications of that. It's been a long time since those reports have come in, but right now we are just seeing those gusts of up to 60 miles per hour possible with that tornado tag. So what I've been doing while Chief Meteorologist Kevin Coskren has been talking to you about the tornado warning, I've been going through kind of some velocity data, and what you need to do in this situation is do a top-down approach to see if you see any subtle hint at other circulations that may be developing. Good news so far, the only one that stands out is the one that's tornado warned northeast of Stigler into the Garland area. But I've been watching, and again, we're using the Fort Smith radar, so it has to look through thunderstorms to kind of see behind it, but we'll switch it to the Tulsa radar. Just some very weak rotation near the Kiefton and Martin area. It's not enough to warrant a tornado warning, but it's just enough for us to kind of draw attention to it and just to keep in the back of our heads. You can see it's very weak in comparison to the actual tornado warning that we have, but I've been keeping an eye on that. So now on to the severe thunderstorm warning itself. We have had a little update, still moving to the northeast at 35 miles per hour. So we'll do another track on this. Now this is edging into portions of Sequoyah and LaFleur counties, and then once it gets past that into Arkansas, we're essentially going to be done with this line of storms, and we'll pass it off to folks in Arkansas. So it's moving to the northeast at 35 miles per hour, just on the edge of our viewing area, near Bordeaux at 1237, Milton at 1239, Harrison at 1241, Box at 1241, Caston at 1244, and Brent at 1247. So again, although this is just a severe thunderstorm warning for the towns that we've mentioned, we could still see the spin-up tornado potential as this line of storms does track to the east. So I want to make sure everyone is aware that this line of storms is heading your way. It's moving slowly to the northeast at 35 miles per hour, but it's still trekking along. So far, we haven't had any updates on the tornado warning that's still over Haskell County, still set to expire at 12:45, Kevin. So that's still another 10 minutes for us right now. Still had that broad signature, and we'll continue to see if there's going to be an uptick, or this thing's been pulsing all morning long in terms of the line itself and any embedded circulation. So we'll have to continue to watch it going forward.
Yeah, a good point by you. We'll head back to links too, Joy. I appreciate that. Kind of surveying the line here and looking for other areas of rotation. You found one farther north. Look how much broader this circulation is here, as indicated by the velocity data. But still, there's still the threat for a tornado. We have 9 minutes left for this tornado warning in Haskell County. The worst of the rotation has moved past Stigler to the north and east, and now we're moving up toward Tamaha, Star, and Salisaw. So those are areas that eventually, if this thing were to hold together, it could drop a tornado at any moment. So we're going to keep it here with you until the tornado, any tornado warning in the News Channel 8 viewing area, we're going to get on, tell you about it, give you the updates, and to try to keep you safe, because that's probably our most important job here at News Channel 8, is to do that. So if you do live between Stigler and Star, those areas right in there, there's an area of rotation that we're tracking to the northeast, could drop a tornado at any moment. As Joy mentioned, west of this line, the threat for tornadoes has lessened. In McIntosh County, in Pittsburgh County, those areas, the threat for tornadoes has gone down a bit after this initial push of thunderstorms has already moved through your area, and there already have been some storms that have been rotating in McIntosh and Pittsburgh County and points south. But now that line of storms is moving east, and looking at the current Doppler radar scan, again, the broadening, you see how there's more space now between the red and the green. When those are really close together, you know you've got that really good circulation going on. You could have, I can actually turn on the velocity marker to see if it's picking up on any. No, when I got the velocity marker on, it's not even showing up. There'd be a little spin here that would be like, yeah, there's a circulation. So a little bit, this is good news here. Good news We don't want to let our guard down. You should still be in your shelter if you do live in that part of Haskell County, just northeast of Stigler, as this storm moves to the northeast. But the broadening of that circulation is a good thing, but another thing you watch for is lightning strikes. And these lightning strikes is important because oftentimes you'll have a zone like this and you'll have 50 or 60 lightning strikes. We've got 2. So that's a good thing because obviously when you get a lot of lightning out there, you've got a strengthening storm. When you don't, you still could get a tornado. You don't have to have a lot of lightning to have a tornado, but it's just one of the factors we'll look at to see whether a storm is like strengthening and you see those lightning strikes start to go up or if they go down. So right now we've got strong winds with this storm as it moves east. This storm is severe thunderstorm warned for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, as well as being tornado warned for this area of rotation northeast of Stigler as it moves to the northeast through Haskell County. And that's the zone right there. There's Highway 64 north of Star, and those are areas that you should be taking your shelter away from windows, interior room, lowest level of your home. And again, at this time of day, most people aren't home at noontime. We've got people are at work or people are at school. So, you know, you get the administrators who have to be in charge of where to take the kids and where to take the co-workers and things like that to be safe. So hopefully everybody's got their plan. And for the next 6 minutes, we continue to have a tornado warning for Haskell County. This is the only tornado warning that's in effect right now across the News Channel 8 viewing area, and we hope it's our last. Joy, what do you have?
Yes, so I wanted to people may be wondering, hey, why is the severe threat not great over Tulsa or areas to the north like how it's been over the past couple of days? It's all been dependent on this frontal boundary. This warm front was originally early this morning near the Red River and into southeastern Oklahoma, but it's been able to move north. Now, granted, it's only made it to maybe just south of the 44 corridor, so the better ingredients for these storms to tap into are only across our southeastern counties, into southeastern Oklahoma and into northeastern Texas, and that's where you see these tornado watch continue until 5 o'clock with the counties in yellow. Originally, we didn't have too much in the way of instability, but we had a little wind shear, and that's why overall our storms this morning were sub-severe. Right?
Hey, Joy, I'm going to interrupt you for a second. I don't see the tornado warning here in Haskell County.
Okay, I don't have an official statement.
Can we bring
that
bring it back to links 2 for a second? Bring it back to links 2. The tornado warning still is there. I just saw a report of a chaser. I don't know if it's not official, but there were a couple of brief touchdowns near Stigler within the last 10 minutes. So this is an area of rotation, and sometimes if you're a chaser or a spotter, you know that you've got that rotating wall cloud, the lowering of the cloud base, and you see those little striations come out, and sometimes you'll form a little funnel cloud and it'll touch the ground and officially become a tornado and it'll go back up. I think that's what's been happening with this particular storm. So if you live in Stigler, there have been, at least one chaser has reported it, a couple of brief touchdowns. Now with that wording, I would assume there wasn't any damage, but I don't know at this moment that I'm saying that. But there's definitely still rotation here between Stigler. I don't know, is that Tamaha or Tamaha, Joy? Help me out on that one.
Tamaha. And they are going to extend the tornado warning. That is from the National Weather Service office in Tulsa. Okay.
So we're going to extend the warning, and probably one of a big reason, not just the area of rotation right here between Stigler and Tamaha, but also that report from a chaser down there who had a couple of brief touchdowns, not one, but 2 in areas near Stigler. So let me get a little bit, kind of widen our view here a bit. Because it looks like they're going to be extending this warning. The edge of the tornado warning right now here goes out to Tamaha. Eventually, it could hit Sallisaw if it holds together as far as the area of rotation that's capable of producing a tornado. So if you live in Sallisaw, currently you're not under a tornado warning. But from what the Weather Service is saying, you might be under one soon because they're going to extend this warning. It expires at 12:45, or now, there you go, they've already done it. It expires now at 1:30. So it looks like, yep, they're going to track it. See how they're tracking it in this direction now, up toward Tamaha and eventually up near Box and Dwight Mission. So you know what? Yeah, this one's going to expire, so they've reissued it because it's going this way. So we're going to cancel the current track here and do another one. Let me see the rate of speed of this. Let me see the.
It's moving northeast at 30 miles per hour.
Okay, for Sequoyah Haskell, northeast at 30, capable of producing a tornado. Okay, so there you got the circulation right there over Garland. We can track that storm right here, 30 miles an hour, and then we'll get the town names to show up there, Tamaha, and eventually Sallisaw. So you're on the edge here in Sallisaw. This thing has shifted a little bit to the north. It was going to the northeast, excuse me. Now it's going more so to the northeast. So you're probably going to get missed by the main circulation in Star and Brent and Tucker. It's going to be ending up going into your northwest. So now you're in the threat here for Tamaha, Sallisaw, and eventually Marble City. And you see the town names and the times that would be impacted here. This area of circulation does not want to go away, and it's within a line of thunderstorms that also has the capability of producing severe wind of 60 miles an hour. As a matter of fact, if you just click out here, that's a severe thunderstorm warning until 1 for Sequoyah County. So you see that's what that yellow line is right there. That's the severe thunderstorm warning to go along with the tornado warning that we've got. So we'll track that tornado warning again to 1:30. It's approaching I-40 west of Sallisaw. So that's the area that we're watching here for the threat for a tornado to form at any time. And this warning now has been going for, I believe, more than 45 minutes. And now it's already been extended once. Now it's been extended twice. So that's obviously concerning. If you live in the area of Garland, Stigler, your threat for a tornado has ended. But the area of rotation that was over Stigler about 10 or 15 minutes ago has now shifted northeast to Garland, and it's moving toward Tamaha. So if you live between Garland and Tamaha, imminently, that's where the threat is the greatest. Looking at the lightning strikes, we still have a few. Again, we'd rather have 3 than 33. So that's just one of the things we'll look at to see how intense a storm is. But you see how they just dropped the old tornado warning. The old one expired, the one that was moving towards, say, Brent. Now we've got a new tornado warning until 1:30 between Garland and Tamaha over the next 10 or 15 minutes. That's where the threat zone is. That's where right now we probably have a rotating wall cloud. And there's probably at least more than one chaser and spotter watching this thing. And they're going to give reports to either us or the Weather Service, and then we will kind of have another way to have eyes on the storm other than being able to see the rotation right here, which definitely we're seeing that. We could even get a little couplet right there that could be a little bit concerning then I look at that. So there could be a tight circulation, excuse me, just northeast of Garland by a few miles. So watching an area here as it moves to the northeast at 30 miles an hour. Need to be in your shelters here, folks. We know what to do. It's the middle of severe weather season, right in the heart of it. It seems like every day you have to check. Is today a day for severe weather? Is it April or May? Then usually the answer is yes. Joy, I see that the severe thunderstorm warning is following this tornado warning. We want to make sure we keep it on the tornado warning as much as possible for the viewers so they know where the greatest threat is. I just want to mention that also. But would you have an update for us, Joy?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about the evolution of this tornado warning and the potential tornado that we've been tracking for quite some time. As we go back, we're going to look at this potential circulation. So roughly at around 11 o'clock near the McAllister area, we were watching this line of storms that at least had some broad rotation. This is northeast of McAllister, northeast of 69. This was at around 11 a.m. And watch what happens as I move this closer. We get our first tornado warning right near the Quinton area just outside at 11:51. Now you may be wondering, as we play this forward, we've been watching this storm for quite some time and it's still tornado warned at 12:47. So at this point, we've been watching this tornado warned storm for about an hour's time, and the reason why it's only made so much of a distance is because it's moving still very slowly to the northeast at 20 miles per hour. So it doesn't have a great storm motion with this. Normally, you know, when when a line of storm sweeps through, it's moving to the east or southeast at about 60 miles per hour. So normally when you go into your safe space, you're there for about 20 minutes, and then you're free to kind of move out of that safe space and go about your day. But under this scenario, you may have to hang out in your safe space or shelter just a little bit longer due to the extreme slow motion of this individual cell, and the line of storms is only moving to the east at about 30 to 35 miles per hour.
Is that Fort Smith or Tulsa radar right there?
This is the Fort Smith radar.
I got you.
So that's what we're watching right now.
Gotcha. Yeah, and that's the one to use for this one because it's closer to the. This location is definitely closer to Fort Smith than it is to the Tulsa radar. Good analysis there, Joey, of watching that. You could watch over the last hour and a half the evolution of this area of rotation. And let's bring it back to links 2 here, folks, because we are tracking the storm here as it moves to the northeast. You've got a couplet here just right between Garland and Tamaha, and it's moving to the northeast, as she mentioned, between 20 and 30 miles an hour. So tracking the storm at its current rate of speed, Tamaha at 1257, you're about 10 minutes away from potentially being impacted here by this storm. I could draw a new box here, if you will, just get rid of the old one and get a new one here because it has shifted a little bit. So as it moves to the northeast here at, I believe, is the update 20 miles an hour, Joe? I thought it was 30, but I think you said it was 20 miles an hour.
The cell specifically with this tornado warning is only moving at 25 miles per hour, but the entire line is moving to the east at 35 miles per hour.
Got it. Okay, so we'll track that cell, and there's the rotation area as it moves to the northeast. Tamaha, we've been letting you know for a few minutes now. We're continuing to let you know that you need to be in your shelter in Tamaha because at any moment we could have a tornado right over your town. As this area of circulation moves northeast, lightning strikes going up a little bit. There's some intensification of some of these storms in the area. We're also severe thunderstorm warned with this whole line of storms. There's a severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Sequoyah County. That's a tornado warning until 1:30. So Sequoyah and Haskell counties, you're under the threat for the tornado. And those are the 2 counties that, as this storm moves to the northeast, there's the edge of the tornado warned area all the way north of I-40. So between Tamaha and I-40 in Haskell County especially, that's where we're watching over the next 15, 20 minutes for the threat of a tornado. And again here, folks, there's the circulation. We've got it. We've got the circulation over Haskell County, and it's kind of been shifting as we saw the evolution of it. If you tracked it over the last, I think I can loop that over the last half hour. Let's see if it does it for me now. And for some reason, the looping function is not working for me today, but we'll get over it. Okay, so there it is right here, folks. That's about 7 or 8 miles southwest of Tamaha as it moves to the northeast. You got to be in your shelters right now for this. This is the only game in town as far as tornado warnings go. It's portions of Sequoyah and Haskell County until 1:30. And it's concerning when an area of rotation lasts for so long. As we just mentioned, going back to 11 o'clock in the morning, almost 2 hours ago, is when this thing started to show some rotation. And then over the last almost 2 hours, it's kind of pulsed and got really tight and then broadened and tightened and broadened. And now it looks like it might be trying to tighten up again here just southwest of Tamaha. It's pretty concerning here. If you live along and south of I-40 in that part of Haskell County and portions of Sequoyah County, that's where we're watching it very carefully. Joy, you have an update?
Yeah, I just want to briefly mention that we have some good news. McIntosh and Pittsburgh counties are now out of the tornado watch. So we're seeing the the confirmation here that once this line passes, we're going to see that severe threat weaken through the afternoon and early evening. So I just wanted to mention that there.
Yeah, great news. And leave it on this for just a second because it gives us a good perspective on where that tornado warning is located so you get your bearings straight. Sequoyah, Haskell County, right along I-40 there as that storm moves near the Tamaha area right now. And that's a tornado warning until 1:30 for that little area right there. As we mentioned, it's not a fast-moving circulation. It's been moving between 20 and 30 miles an hour to the northeast, but that's the tornado warned area, and that's where you need to be taking shelter. We'll bring it back to links 2 now, and good news about the tornado watch being canceled now for areas to the west of this line of storms, but still have that area of rotation as we're tracking it to the north and east. As it moves to the northeast, we're going to be watching for the threat for, at any moment, a tornado to fall out of the sky. You know, some of the things to think about as far as keeping yourself and your family safe during tornado warnings. It's not just where you go, it's what you have there when you get there. So you got to have a kind of a kit, like a bin that has things in it, just in case you end up having a tornado and your house gets hit and the house falls in on you. There are things that you need to have in your kit there that will keep you safe, like food and water. A lot of people talk about boots or some kind of shoes, because if you have a direct hit on your house, think of all the debris, and then you have to walk out and you don't have anything on your feet because you don't think about it. So you got to have shoes in your bin that you put in your safety shelter. And we're talking about these things because we have a tornado warning right on either side of I-40 in Sequoyah and Haskell County until 1:30. Let's there's a circulation still tightening up. I can redraw that to as this storm right here is just over Tamaha. So if you live in Tamaha, you definitely want to be, you're in your shelter right now. We know you are. Marble City at 1:35. So if this thing holds together, and I'll tell you what, this circulation has been here for almost 2 hours. Now, there hasn't been a tornado warning for this circulation for 2 hours because it has pulsed a bit. It'll get tight and then it'll loosen up. But we've had a warning for this thing now for more than an hour. It moved through Stigler, and there were a couple of reports, one report I should say, from a storm chaser, that there were 2 brief touchdowns of a tornado in the Stigler area about a half hour ago. So that's unconfirmed. I saw that on the Weather Service chat. It's probably true, but just want to give you the perspective there. But there's Tamaha. There's the circulation. It's moving to the northeast. I-40 is right here, and we're in the danger zone if you live in those areas as that storm moves northeast at 25 miles an hour. Eventually, Flute Springs. If we get up to Marble City, it would take a while. 1:35, it's another 40 minutes. But we're tracking that area of circulation. It's concerning because it's been there for so long, and the warning has been there for a while too. Joy, I don't think we've seen any damage reports, or the only report I saw of any kind of confirmation was that one that was a spotter or a chaser who said a couple of brief touchdowns in Stigler. What have you seen?
Yeah, so far that's been the only, so I hate to use the word confirmation, but the only indication we've seen of a report coming in from this line of storms. I also wanted to mention, I've noticed a couple of, granted weak, but a couple of circulations that have popped up near the current tornado warning. So this first one near the Keota area, near Highway 9, that's tracking to the northeast, likely near Star, Tucker, Collington, and Cartersville. Of course, we've mentioned these areas before because it appeared that maybe the tornado warning would have taken more of an easterly track, but it was taking more of a northeasterly track. So this is one area along the line of storms that we're going to have to keep an eye on, as well as when you go north of this current tornado warning. It did appear near the Braggs area, maybe some weak rotation as well. So we mentioned through the rest of this afternoon, we're going to have to keep an eye on this line of storms for any weak circulations that may develop into a couplet like what we've seen so far with our current tornado warning near the Tamaha area. Again, this tornado warning does go until 1:30. It's been extended into Sequoyah County, so we'll be watching this tornado warning at least for the next half hour unless it's extended. So far, it's maintained its strength. It may have weakened a little bit, but pulsed right back up, and so far has maintained this couplet that we're able to see near the Tamaha area as it's tracking slowly to the northeast at about 25 miles per hour. So some of the highways that this circulation may come in contact with, Highway 64 would be one of them, near McKee in Pinhook Corner, as well as near the Highway 82 area may cross that as well. So if you're hearing these kind of local state highways that are near your home or near your property, you want to make sure you, of course, are taking shelter. In the meantime, As we go back to reflectivity, we've seen these severe thunderstorm warnings be issued downstream with this next one kind of farther north. This is the farthest north warning that we've had so far today, and this does extend forward towards Cherokee, Sequoyah, Wagner, and Muskogee counties, again for that 60 mile-per-hour wind gust threat, but also the potential for a quick spin-up tornado or two. And we know at the very least far north, Muskogee and Sequoyah counties are still under this tornado watch until 5 o'clock. Kevin?
All right, I appreciate it, Joy, and that's good information about the fact that Keota has an area of circulation that's starting to develop. So it's not just the one here that we've been watching just over Tamaha as it moves toward I-40. Along that line of thunderstorms, that is severe thunderstorm warned, we continue to have that one tornado warning where more could get issued in the coming 1 to 2 hours as that storm moves northeast. So we're tracking the center of circulation of that storm. You see the tornado warning box there till 1:30 for Sequoyah and Haskell counties on either side of I-40. That's the danger zone. And we're also tracking some of the towns that would be impacted here. I can give a little bit more in the way of towns will show up here if I edit this just a bit, just to give us just a few more to check on your location. How about McKee at 1:17? That's about 15 to 20 minutes from now, and eventually Dwight Mission at 1:28. So we're talking about in the next 15 to 30 minutes, if you live on either side of I-40, Sequoyah, Haskell County, under the threat for a potential tornado. This is an area of circulation which has held together now in some form for the last 2 hours as this line of severe wind-producing thunderstorms continues to attempt to try to produce tornadoes. That's why a tornado watch is in place. As we mentioned a minute ago, Pittsburgh County, the tornado watch has been canceled. McIntosh County, the tornado watch has been canceled. But areas east of there, Sequoyah, Haskell, Latimer, LaFleur, those are the four in our viewing area. We're still watching those closely for stuff like this happening. Tornado warnings, which is in effect right now till 1:30 if you live in McKee along Highway 64. If you live in Tamaha, the impact is now. You're being impacted with a potential tornado in Tamaha imminently with an area of circulation and a rotating thunderstorm right over your town. As this storm moves to the northeast at 25 to 30 miles an hour, it would eventually make its way up toward Dwight Mission in less than a half hour's time. So it's great that the technology exists to be able to give people lead time for tornadoes. So if you do live in McKee or Dwight Mission, you've got 15 to 30 minutes to do what you need to do. And probably you only need 1 or 2 minutes to get to your safe spot, and maybe even 10 or 15 seconds, depending on how good you are. But this is the time when you have to put your plan in motion. Again, for two reasons. One, a tornado could form at any time with this tornado warned area in Sequoyah and Haskell counties. And the other reason is because every time a tornado warning is issued and you execute your plan, whether you're at work, home, or school, it gives you fuel for understanding what you did right, what you did wrong, how you can make it better, how you can be safer. Did you have everything in your safety kit that you needed to have? As I mentioned a minute ago, having shoes in your safety shelter, that's something you might need as well. Some people just have a bin that they put in the shelter that has everything in it: food, water, battery-operated radio, shoes, bike helmets, all those things. So you'd have to, every time you get the tornado warning, just in the interest of safety, you've got to make sure you get to that shelter and you do what you're supposed to do to protect yourselves and your family. Joy, you have an update on this tornado warning?
Yes, and the original circulation we've been watching just in the southeast to the Keota area. When we look at shear rate, we're noticing that the shear is starting to increase. The National Weather Service office in Tulsa is also noticing that with this storm, as well as it's heading up into Star. So I just want to make sure that we may be looking at the potential for an additional tornado warning if this storm continues to strengthen. Right now, as we zoom in, this is leaving Keota. It's already crossed Highway 9 and heading into Star, This will eventually be near Brent, Tucker, and it's just on the east side of Red Hill as well. At the moment, it's not tornado warned. I've seen an uptick in a little bit of lightning. We just only have our one tornado warning to its north near the Tomahawk area. But I just wanted to make note, Kevin, that we are starting to see some of that shear rate increasing. So I noticed that.
Yeah, it's a good variable to look at. I appreciate that, Joy. Haskell County, Sequoyah County, you are two of the counties that are under the highest threat for tornadoes moving forward. And as we mentioned, between Keota and Star, there's an area of rotation that could eventually develop a tornado, but there's no warning for it yet. We just showed you the area of rotation. Now we've got the current tornado warning. Let's go back to links 2 that we're tracking. Let's give a new track on that. We know that it's moving that area of rotation near Tomahawk, moving to the northeast, 25 miles an hour. Marble City at 136. So again here, folks, shelter is where you need to be, and we still have another possibly 15 to 30 minutes where we're going to be dealing with this. And we may indeed, as Joy just mentioned, we may have to be looking at another tornado warning that gets issued possibly soon down between Keota and Star, because there's some rotation down there as well that we're watching. And oftentimes when you get a line of thunderstorms like this, along the line, you've got these little areas of rotation that show up. It doesn't have to be one. It could be 1, 2, 3, 4. Right now, we've got the one that has the tornado warning on either side of I-40 in Sequoyah and Haskell counties, just northeast of Tomahawk as it moves to the northeast. Pinhook Corner at 124. So that's 20 minutes from now. The town of Pinhook Corner would be under the threat for this possible tornado. And eventually Marble City and Flute Springs as we head over the next 30 to 35 minutes. The threat for the tornado is there. Watching an area near Star as well. You see that little area of red and green? That's some little bit of rotation, but it's not enough yet. It's not tight enough for the warning to be issued for a tornado. But this one is, the one just northeast of Tomahawk. A tornado could form at any time. And we know that this circulation over Tomahawk, about a half hour ago in Stigler, a spotter reported 2 brief touchdowns of a tornado. And I didn't hear any reports of damage or injury with that, but it just tells you that the atmosphere is ripe for these rotating storms, the lowering of the cloud base, the wall clouds, and then you start to see the little striations of the clouds come out, and sometimes they form funnel clouds. I believe that happened over Stigler about a half hour ago, and there were a couple of brief touchdowns. So this area of rotation is still there, and those are the ones that produce these tornadoes. And if all the conditions happen just right, you get that tornado to form, the tornado could strengthen and really start to do damage. Fortunately, we haven't had that yet, but we do know that at any time you have a tornado warning, you have to consider that possibility. And that's why we've been hitting home the point of every time there's a tornado warning in your location, you got to get to shelter. And I'm sure that everyone is right now on either side of I-40 northeast of Tomahawk in Sequoyah and Haskell counties. Joy, what do you got?
Yeah, we have the tornado warning now that for that circulation that is currently near Star. It's moving through that area at the moment. And this tornado warning, it's a new one for Haskell, Sequoyah, and LaFleur counties, and it goes until 1:45. Once again, this particular storm's motion is only at 25 miles per hour and moving to the northeast. So it's very similar motion to the tornado warning that we've been tracking since 1150. They're right next to each other, and so folks near these areas kind of need to take shelter. Anywhere from McKee to Brent down to Tucker, you've got simultaneous tornado warnings that are both going to be crossing I-40 shortly. The first storm, or the northernmost tornado warning near the Tomahawk area, will be crossing I-40 within the next 15 to 20 minutes. The storm just to its south near the Star area is going to take a little bit longer to reach I-40, but it'll likely cross 59 within the next 30 minutes or so. So I just wanted to make you aware we now have 2 tornado warnings in our area that are currently right next to each other.
That's not good news, but I appreciate the update there. And that I'm going to kind of keep it on this screen right now, because now that we have 2 tornado warnings, the one that we just heard about northeast of Keota, that's until 1:45, and then the one just northeast of Tamaha, that's until 1:30. It's either side of I-40, Sequoyah, Haskell County, and also portions of northwestern LaFleur County as well. So it's where Sequoyah, Haskell, and LaFleur counties meet, and for that newest tornado warning. Yeah, they go for the next half hour to 45 minutes, and now we've got 2 on our hands here, folks, and that's obviously not a good situation. I'm gonna track the newest one here. I got to get the speed moving northeast at 25 miles an hour for the newest one, so I can draw the speed here for 25, and then get you your towns, because we have to make sure we know when the threat will be there for our towns. And if you do live in those parts of northwestern LaFleur County, northeastern Haskell, or Sequoyah County, we're tracking. This is the storm we just tracked with the area of circulation, and you can see your town and the time that you'd be impacted on the left part of the screen. The tornado warning until 1:45 for that storm there's the circulation. We're also continuing to track a circulation northeast of Tamaha. That circulation's been going for more than 2 hours now, and it has produced more than 2 tornado warnings. I believe it's produced 3. So we're still watching this as it crosses I-40 west of Sallisaw, crossing I-40 imminently. So that's an area that we have to obviously take under advisement. And also I-40 east of Sallisaw in the next 30 to 45 minutes. We're tracking it through northwestern LaFleur County, northeast of Keota, and southwest of Gans. Right in between those 2 towns. So that's the one we're tracking, but also there are 2 tornado warnings that are happening right now. I can track this one as well. That's the 1:30, and this one is the 1:45. So we've got 2 tornado warnings impacting us along I-40. Sallisaw, you've got one to your west, you got one to your east, and these storms are moving northeast at between 20 and 30 miles an hour. With 2 areas of rotation very well defined, northeast of Tamaha and also northeast of Keota. As the storms move to the northeast, we want to make sure we take our shelter and make sure that you, wherever you are, work, school, home, you have a plan. Remember, mobile homes are not safe. If you live in a mobile home and you live in Oklahoma and you don't have a storm shelter, you need to have a predetermined place to go to stay safe in the event of a tornado. So that's something you do on days when there aren't tornadoes. You go around, you find a friend or neighbor or a sturdy building nearby that you have a plan to go to if you get under a tornado warning. Now, sometimes people will literally, I remember the Claremore tornado from last year. I know a guy who lives in a mobile home in Claremore, and he had about 15 minutes lead time for that tornado warning, and he knew that he wouldn't be safe. So he got his family, got in the car, and drove south. And they were safe. And we know what happened in Claremore. So sometimes you just got to drive away from that mobile home and get to a safe place because they are not safe. Mobile homes are not safe. Manufactured homes are great to live in, but if you have a tornado warning, you got to get out. And you got to keep you and your family safe. So 2 tornado warnings, one northeast, one west of Sallisaw, one south of Sallisaw. Both are moving to the northeast. We're tracking this rotational area here, Blackjack at 141, Hanson 136. Within the next 25 to 35 minutes, those towns will be impacted with a potential tornado as they move to the northeast. And this is a line of thunderstorms which is severe thunderstorm warned for 60-mile-an-hour winds and penny-sized hail. You see here that there's some heavy weather back off to the west. If we put up the reflectivity data just for a second out of Fort Smith, you continue to see that's the tornado warning northeast of Tamaha, and this is the tornado warning that we're tracking northeast of Keota and here's Sallisaw to get your bearings straight. But we're watching this entire line of thunderstorms here, which is severe thunderstorm warned for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, to go along with the fact that it's a tornado warned as well. So put up the shear rate here just for a sec. Shear rate, you look at the key up here, weak, strong. We've got some strong shear here northeast of Tamaha, right along I-40, west of Sallisaw by about 5 to 10 miles. We're looking at an area of a pretty impressive rotation indicated by Doppler radar. Also, a strengthening area of rotation between Keota and Sallisaw. Both these storms are moving east. So this is shear rate. It's kind of just another way to look for rotation, and the strength of it is indicated by the key up here. Once you get into that little bit of a maroon color on the shear, that's when you know you've got some serious rotation, and that could produce a tornado at any time. Another thing we'll look at is the base velocity, which is simply what direction is the wind going. We're looking at the Fort Smith radar right now. We're watching the green is going toward the radar and the red is going away. So when you get little areas that are together like that, you've got circulation. One of them is between Keota and Sallisaw, and the other one is between Tamaha and Marble City. We'll zoom in just a little bit here to get a few more town names that are going to show up for us here. Let me turn this off for just a sec, just to give you, sometimes there's so many colors on these maps, you got to take off the radar just for a second to get your bearings straight again. So we're tracking the two areas that are tornado warned, and you see them in red. They're easy to spot. Between Tamaha and Pinhook Corner, that's an area that's tornado warned until 1:30. Then between Star, Maple, and Aikens, right through Brent and Gans on I-40, that is tornado warned until 1:45. And you also see on this map the areas that are severe thunderstorm warned as well for the 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. If we go out a little bit, we can take a look at how far north those go. I mean, there's Tahlequah. That severe wind is right on the edge of you. And all the way down here to our eastern counties, you've got Sequoyah and LaFleur, and even all the way down to the Red River. So we know that the tornado watch has been canceled for Pittsburgh and for McIntosh. These areas here, and it makes sense. This line of storms, as it moves east, it has passed by Pittsburgh and McIntosh County. So Pittsburgh and McIntosh County are no longer in the tornado watch, as you'll see on the bottom of your screen with the crawl that we're running. But we still have our eastern counties, Joy. We're talking Sequoyah, Haskell, and LaFleur, primarily those three, including 2 active tornado warnings that we're continuing to watch.
And once we get our latest radar scan, I think we'll be able to finally see some clearing for Haskell County. If you remember the original tornado warning, which is now the North tornado warning near McKee, moving out of Tamaha, that was that same storm we've been tracking since Quinton. And if you put a line on it there, that's almost from west to east across Haskell County. So thankfully that storm has moved out of Haskell County. Now we're just looking at the southernmost tornado warned storm near the Star area heading up towards Brant. Once we get additional data with our next, it's kind of a velocity scan, if you will, or a radar scan in general, that's going to move out of Haskell County. And that's finally going to give Haskell County a break from the prolonged tornado warnings. Since we've been on air, that would be at around 11:50 a.m. So we're not saying we're all clear yet. Just in that far eastern corner, we're seeing that southernmost tornado warned storm near the Star area. Once it does cross counties, we'll finally take all of the tornado warnings out of the Haskell County area. So these storms are moving very slow to the northeast at just 25 miles per hour. Pretty soon we'll have both of these tornado warnings in the Sequoyah County area, and only in Sequoyah County, and those will likely track northeast if these can maintain their strength. The northernmost portion may track into far southern Adair County, so we'll be watching that. Crossing Highway 59, currently over I-40 right now near the McKee area. This is now just north of Tamaha, so this circulation is directly over I-40 and Highway 64 as we speak. So hopefully folks are able to pull off and get to shelter there. Otherwise, that southernmost storm still inching towards Brent, inching towards Highway 59 and Highway 64, but it's still a little bit farther away from I-40. We can do a little track to I-40 just to see. This is a very much traveled highway here, of course, with trucks and things, so we'll do that. Again, it's moving very slowly, but it's only going to take about a few minutes for folks near the Gans area and up to I-40 about 2:14. So notice that near Gans, That's a whole hour away from now near Brent. We're still looking at about 10 minutes or so. So very slow storm track. This is one you're going to have to be glued to radar, glued to our News Channel 8 weather app, and of course glued to News Channel 8 in general as we're going to continue to track these storms. Looks like our storm chaser Jeff Robbins, he is in Cherokee County now. I'm going to get in contact with him and see what his plans are.
All right, that sounds great, Joy, and continuing to track. This is a great view right here. We'll keep it up here just for a second. West of McKee, that's one area of rotation. South of Brent, that's another. We've got tornado warnings for both of those storms. If you live in northeastern Haskell County, southwest of Tamaha, you are no longer in the tornado warning. The tornado warning has been canceled for that portion of Haskell County as the storm has jumped toward I-40 and is impacting areas of Sequoyah County. We're also watching this area of rotation, which is right on the border of northeastern Haskell, southern Sequoyah, and northwestern LaFleur. That's where all those three counties meet, right in here. And that is an area of rotation which has prompted that tornado warning in those areas. And as Joy mentioned, these tornado warnings near interstates, we know what happened last year in Marietta, down along what is it? What highway that is down? It might be it's I something. One of those east-west interstates right along the Red River. We know there was a fatality there with someone in their car last year in Marietta. So, you know, getting the information to these people, you just have to know what to do when you're driving. I mean, some people will drive right through a tornado. They don't even think about it, but we know better. We know we need to pull over to a sturdy shelter. Usually people go to a gas station, something like that. Just to get safe. If you happen to see a storm that is producing a tornado, get the heck away from it. So there's I-40 right there. Sallisaw. The storm is south of Sallisaw where the rotation is. There's also a storm with rotation west of Sallisaw, right crossing I-40 as we speak, near the town of McKee. That's where the rotation there is, just south of Pinhook Corner. That's an area of rotation which could produce a tornado at any time. And those are the only two tornado warnings that we have. Let's bring it back to links 2 right now so I can have control of looking at the severe thunderstorm warnings. Panama, Podo, that's not going to be good for the Podo River. We know we've had river flood warnings there in the past, and near Panama especially. So this is a good view of the severe thunderstorm warnings in yellow for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. It's a good view of the 2 tornado warnings that are in place. This one till 1:30 into portions of Sequoyah County, just right across I-40 as we speak. Excuse me, and this one down here south of that into northwestern LaFleur County, northeastern Haskell County, and southeastern Sequoyah County. And those are the towns there with that tornado warning that expires at 1:45. So I do want to put up the base reflectivity again and kind of zoom in on that to get a look at what's happening here. There's a lot of stuff going on here, folks. So there's some rotation here. It may have broadened a bit between McKee and Vian, and also now looks like there's a little bit of rotation here near Sadie. So this whole, how often do we see this? See a snaking line of thunderstorms, and along it there'll be a little bit of an area of rotation that prompts a warning, and then maybe 10 or 15 miles away there'll be another one. That's what happened here. We were tracking the storm here through northeastern Haskell County, and it made its way across the border into Sequoyah. See how small that tornado warned box is right there? That is the one that expires at 1:30 for Sequoyah County, just west of Sallisaw. That's a tornado warning for you until 1:30. Now, east of that, southeast of that, down the line of thunderstorms, you can see where the line of thunderstorms is by watching where the red and the green meet. We're also tracking a storm here with rotation near Brent, and that's a tornado warning for you. That's going to pass east of Sallisaw along Highway 64. I want to redraw that area of concern there as it moves to the northeast. Let's see here. Let's track it. Put up shear rate for a sec. Yeah. All right. So getting close to Highway 64, we've got strong shear between Brent, Tucker, Gans. This whole area right in here. If you put up base velocity out of Fort Smith, we're watching an area that, that definitely could produce a tornado at any moment. So,
Kevin, I wanted to mention really quick that we have folks out over Fort Smith, Arkansas, where they saw a spotter reported rotation near Highway 51 and 141 junction. That's near east of Brent. So practically the same locations that we've been tracking, but we've had another spotter confirm at least some rotation near the Brent area.
okay, well, we're not surprised when we look at the reflective velocity data there, Joy. I appreciate the update. This is an area that we have a tornado-warned storm, excuse me, just south of I-40. Fort Smith is just to the east there. So that's the radar we're using. We've got low-level rotation. If you're really close to the radar, you've got low-level rotation. So definitely that's when you have a tornado. The tornado chances are going to go up, obviously, much more when you have low-level rotation as opposed to rotation at the upper levels, and it all depends on how close you are to the radar site as far as how high up in the atmosphere the rotation is being indicated. So right here we're tracking the rotation south of Sallisaw as it moves to the northeast and at 25 miles an hour making its way through Sequoyah County. Tornado warning until this is a tornado warning for areas south of Marble City, north of Tamaha. Still rotation going on there till 1:30, and then for the one just off to the west of that, we've got a tornado warning until 1:45, which I have to get rid of this in order to make that come up. So I do want to track this tornado warning here. You see it up there till 1:45 for Sequoyah County. Watching this area of rotation move to the north and east. Anywhere in this tornado warned area, Liberty, Blackjack, along I-40, Gans, Aikens, Stony Point, and areas just east of Sallisaw, but even in Sallisaw, you could be under the threat here in Sallisaw imminently for a tornado. You're tornado warned if you live in Sallisaw, so you need to be in your shelter. One of the bigger cities in this area, so high population. A lot of people could be impacted here into that portion of Sequoyah County. We do have a tornado warning. We have 2 tornado warnings for Sequoyah County right now. One just to the northwest of Sallisaw and one that's approaching Sallisaw as it moves to the northeast. So with Sallisaw, you're in the threat zone. You need to be in your shelters, lowest level of your home, away from windows. If you have a basement, great. Most people don't. In the town of Blackjack at 1:48, Seven Oaks at 1:43. Another thing we'll look at is the lightning strikes. We haven't seen that number go up. It's been hanging out. This situation is being dominated more so by wind shear than it is by instability. If you had a lot more instability, you'd have a lot more lightning. And I think it's usually a good thing that if you've only got one and not the other. We have instability and we have an unstable atmosphere, but we also have wind shear. This line of thunderstorms that's tracking east right now, northeast, I'm going to put up the reflectivity just for a sec. So we'll continue to track. These are the town names that are in the most imminent threat, including Sallisaw. You're right on the edge there in Sallisaw. So if you're in Sallisaw, you should also be taking shelter. But there's a look at the line of storms stretching from west of Tahlequah all the way down to the Red River, and that's producing 60-mile-an-hour winds. If I turn off the reflectivity just for a sec, I'm going to take a look at where the warnings are. Cherokee County, we know that one of our storm chasers is out there in Cherokee County. We'll get an update from him. He's heading toward the danger for us, which we appreciate. You got LaFleur County here. It looks like LaFleur County, right on the northwestern edge, you still have, it looks like the tornado warning has just moved north of Sequoyah, of LaFleur County. So we've got Sequoyah County is the one, and this one has been updated now, this new tornado warning for Marble City, Dwight Mission. I want to clear this out here Yeah, Joy, you've got an update on the new tornado warning that just got issued there.
Yes, it goes until 2 o'clock. That's for the northernmost storm in Sequoyah County, heading up towards Marble City and Dwight Mission. The storm is slowed down even more. It's now moving to the northeast at 20 miles per hour, so it's going to take a little bit longer to get across all of Sequoyah County. Again, so far this has just been radar indicated rotation, that is, not necessarily any ground truthing of a tornado confirmed, so we'll continue to watch that. But so far it is moving to the northeast at 20 miles per hour, and I can quickly do a track on this. Again, these are moving very slowly out there. Aloft, we don't have a great forcing. We don't have a great jet stream or jet streak, if you will, meaning normally that helps edges storms at the surface just a little bit faster along. We don't have that in our setup. So Marble City, it'll be near your area at 1:42. The time right now is 1:27. So it's going to take a little bit of time to get there. Doesn't hurt to get to your safe space now and wait it out until the storm passes. It'll be near Bunch at 2:06, Greasy 2:10, and Lyons 2:22. So if you hear these towns, you're like, oh, I live right next to that, you want to go ahead and get into your safe space as well. So the additional tornado warning goes for the circulation that brought us on the air in the first place at 11:50, now over Pinhook Corner and Dwight Mission, and that's going to track northeast. Now, if it does maintain its strength and it continues on to the northeast and may clip southeastern portions of Cherokee County and move well into Adair County before exiting out of our viewing area and into the state of Arkansas. So that's the latest on the extended tornado warning for our northernmost storm, Kevin.
Okay, appreciate it, Joy. Let's head back to links 2 here. We're tracking both of those same storms. I've tracked here this area of, there's more than one area of rotation here in Sequoyah County, south and southeast of Sallisaw. And as it moves to the northeast, a tornado could form at any point in these towns that you see on your screen. Sallisaw at 1:36. I mean, we're talking 5 to 10 minutes. And an important point here is the fact that because it's daylight and there are chasers and spotters out there, the fact that we haven't had ground truth yet is a good thing, obviously, but the threat is still there. The only ground truth we've seen was back in Stigler a little over an hour ago. There was a spotter who reported 2 brief touchdowns, and that was with this storm here, which is moving toward Marble City. That's tornado warned right there. You see till 2 o'clock for Sequoyah, and also we have an area near Sallisaw that's tornado warned until 1:45. Now, there's not really any really impressive individual circulations along this line for this particular tornado warning. We've tracked the entire area where there could be a circulation at any moment as it moves to the northeast, and that's the towns that are showing up here, Sallisaw, within the next 5 to 10 minutes. Now, if you live in Marble City, you should definitely be in your shelter right now because a tornado warning is in place for you in Marble City until 2. So for the next 15 to 30 minutes, those portions of Sequoyah County are under tornado warnings. You need to be in your shelter, away from windows. And we also mentioned that portions of Cherokee and Adair counties, southern Cherokee and Adair counties, if these storms were to hold together, we could be impacted in southeastern Cherokee and southern Adair over the next, say the next 30 to 45 and even an hour. So if you live in those areas, be on guard. Make sure you have your shelter plan ready. You know where you're going to go, because now we're going on 2.5 hours where this area of thunderstorms has been producing areas of rotation that have prompted tornado warnings. So if you live in Sallisaw, you need to be in your shelter. If you live in Gans, you should be in your shelter as well as Muldrow, and eventually making its way up toward the Arkansas border right here. Right now, Sequoyah County is the danger zone as far as the threat for tornadoes. It's between Marble City and Sallisaw. It's between Sallisaw and Muldrow, and there's I-40. A tornado could form at any point along Interstate 40 as these storms move to the northeast at between 20 and 25 miles an hour. Severe thunderstorm warnings are also in place with these same storms that are producing the tornado warnings. So it's a day where for the next possibly couple of hours in our far eastern viewing area, we still could be dealing with the threat for tornadoes. Joy, do you have an update?
Yes, I just want to switch and talk about flood alerts really quick, as we've noticed these flood advisories continue for portions of the viewing area. Right now, there have been some reports near the Stidham area in McIntosh County where there is a water rescue happening right now. So these advisories would be the kind of duller green shades near Muskogee and Wagner and into Stigler and Wilburton. In these areas, we've already seen 1 to 2 inches of rain within the past couple of hours, and we may see an additional ½ inch to an inch of rainfall. So just for folks who are maybe behind that main line of storms, who are, you know, in that light to moderate rainfall, you may be thinking, okay, we're good, we're not tracking severe weather. That's essentially anyone who is west of this line that I drew here, so west of Poteau, west of Heavener, near the Stigler area in Chakota, down to McAllister. Yes, you're only dealing with light to moderate showers. Your severe threat is done, but you will still be dealing with a flooding threat that's going to continue over the next couple of hours due to this light to moderate rainfall that continues to fall over saturated areas. So I just wanted to make that point clear. And then this is just outside of our viewing area, but this may clip into portions of southern LaFleur County. A new tornado warning has been issued for northern McCurtain County until 2:15. So again, that's not in our viewing area currently, but if it maintains its circulation and holds together, that may be something we're going to have to keep an eye on. It looks like the circulation towards Marble City has weakened a bit. The National Weather Service office in Tulsa did mention that if it continues on this weakening trend, they may cancel the tornado warning. So then we'd be down to just 1 in our viewing area, which would be good for folks out there, Kevin.
Yeah, good point, Joy. 1's better than 2, that's for sure. You're talking about the one in Marble City, which we're tracking right now, and also the one between Sallisaw and Foreman. That area, that large, broad area where there are indications that there's some rotation in there, right over I-40. We just tracked that area over the next, say, 45 minutes or so, because we know that that line of storms is moving to the northeast at 20 miles an hour. So that would bring it into these areas at these times. Seven Oaks at 147. And down the road we go. Aikens at 156. So we're talking in the next 15 to 20 minutes, we're going to be impacted here from I-40 northward of this area of storms here, which is pressing to the northeast, along which there have been areas of rotation and along which we could see a tornado form at any time. Now the circulation for the Marble City area has broadened a bit. So as Joy mentioned, that's a good trend, a weakening trend in the rotation for the Marble City tornado warning. However, for the tornado warning which is impacting places like Aikens and Hanson, that's where there's still a little bit more of a threat as far as looking at the current rotational characteristics of this storm for that tornado warning, which is in place until 1:45. So we've got this till 1:45 between Sallisaw, Hanson, Gans, Baldbridge, and all the way to the north and east, right toward the Arkansas County line. And then eventually we're watching this storm here, which is tornado warned until 2 o'clock for areas around Marble City. That rotational area has weakened a bit. So we'll see what happens there. But basically what we're saying is this area between Sallisaw and Foreman and to the northeast up until, let's say, Liberty and Aikens, that's tornado warned. And at any moment over the next 15 to 30 minutes, a tornado could form. So you need to be in your shelter until this tornado warning expires or is canceled. Same story for you if you live in Flute Springs or Marble City. You need to be in your shelters, and it looks like we have good news for you in Flute Springs and Marble City. That tornado warning was just canceled, so we're going to take off the track there for that area. So widening out the view, we have, I'm going to turn off the reflectivity just for a second, the base velocity, just so we can see who's got the tornado warning. There's Sallisaw, between Sallisaw and Fort Smith, right along I-40. Tornado warning continues for you until 1:45. So we have another 10 minutes of a tornado warning for that storm. There's broad rotation in between Sallisaw and Fort Smith, along I-40 and it's moving to the northeast. A tornado could form at any time, so you need to be in your shelter there. We have severe thunderstorm warning here for portions of Cherokee, excuse me, and Adair counties between Tahlequah and Stillwell for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and penny-sized hail, and also down to Leflore County. We've got severe thunderstorm warned storms too. And as Joy just mentioned, if we widen out the view, go a little bit farther south, southern Leflore County, northern McCurtain, that's a tornado warning for McCurtain until 2:15. So we're noticing a couple of things here. Obviously, this entire system is moving east, and eventually it'll be out of the News Channel 8 viewing area. But for the next half hour to hour's time, we're going to continue to watch for these areas of rotation that prompt tornado warnings. And we've got one here, as far as our viewing area goes, between Sallisaw and Fort Smith. You need to be in your shelters right now because that's where the tornado warned area is, right along I-40. This storm is moving to the northeast at 20 miles an hour. Now, looking for any particular areas of strong rotation within that, you've got perhaps one here. And I'll tell you, it's a broad area. This warning expires at 1:45. So from what I'm seeing here, we may or may not extend this warning past 1:45, but there's no strong velocity couplet on this particular radar velocity scan to warrant it. But we are watching, you're still in the tornado warning here all the way to Long. There's the edge of the tornado warned box. Long and Remy and Liberty and Maple. But the imminent threat would be a little bit farther south here, anywhere along this zone where the green meets the red. That's where the rotation could happen in little areas that spin up. If we put up the reflectivity here out of Fort Smith, sometimes you can see those in the reflectivity data where there's a little bit of a curl in the radar. I don't see anything looking at this, but this is just heavy rain with possible a little bit of hail here too, and wind. We know that, see how that bowing segment of the rain area here, as that bows out, we know that there's some gusty winds there. But as far as looking for the areas of rotation, that's when you put up the velocity data, and then you'll be able to get a better picture. But again, looking at this zone right here, I'm looking for areas that are a velocity couplet, and I'm not really seeing anything too impressive here, Joy, but you can tell me what you're seeing here into Sequoyah County for this tornado warning near Sallisaw that expires in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, I just want to bring some good news to folks in Latimer County. You are officially out of the tornado watch, so that's fantastic news. We don't have Cherokee County in the tornado watch either. Currently, that tornado watch still exists till 5 o'clock for Adair, Muskogee, Sequoyah, Haskell, and Leflore counties. And I do believe once that line officially gets out of Haskell County, we'll be able to, the National Weather Service office will be able to clear them out of the tornado watch. So we're seeing more and more counties get out of the tornado watch. They're in the clear and on the backside of that leading edge. Really, that leading edge is something we've been watching since early this morning as it developed near Texas, northern Texas, and into the Red River. And then eventually, as it got closer to green country, it started shifting to the north and east and eventually made it into some of our southern and eastern counties. In the meantime, of course, we're on the air because we have this tornado warning that goes until 1:45. So we're 5 minutes away. The National Weather Service office in Tulsa is going to have to make a decision whether they're going to allow it to expire at 1:45 or if they're going to reissue it downstream, which would take us to the far northeastern edge into portions of Sequoyah County and eventually into northwest Arkansas. So we'll have to wait and see what they decide to do. In the meantime, we're still watching this broad rotation. It hasn't looked as tight of a circulation or as strong of a circulation as it did about 30 minutes ago. It's kind of maintained this strength here. Of course, this line of storms, and particularly near Sallisaw, Gans, and Muldrow, as well as Maple and Aikens, Long, Liberty, and Roland, can produce up to 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and that's why we see this entire line of storms under this severe thunderstorm warning for that case. We know it's a brief spin-up chance for any part of this line of storms that extends from portions, if we look at reflectivity, this is kind of what we're concerned with here, from a line south of Tahlequah, following across Tenkiller into Flute Springs and Marble City. Of course, the portion that's tornado warned from Sallisaw down to Foreman, but also down to Coal Creek, Shady Point, into southern Leflore County. We're going to have to continue to watch that leading edge. And it looks like, Kevin, we've got some great news here by the National Weather Service office in Tulsa. They are going to let the tornado warning expire and continue on with a severe thunderstorm warning. So that's good news for folks over Sequoyah County who have been under a tornado warning at least for the past 30 minutes. But that doesn't mean we can let our guard down, as that additional severe thunderstorm warning that now goes until 2:30 for Sequoyah County will have that tornado tag, meaning we'll have to still watch that line and see if we get any quick spin up tornadoes.
You got it, Joy. That is great news. We've got two pieces of good information. We'll bring you back to links 2 here. And this tornado warning is going to be allowed to expire at 1:45. The one that was impacting areas between Sallisaw and Muldrow, that will be allowed to expire because we don't really have any really impressive centers of circulation, if you will. It's more of a broad area. So until we get more of those to show up, this tornado warning will be allowed to expire. And if you widen out the view and kind of take off the base velocity just for a sec, as Joy mentioned, it's not just the threat for tornadoes that we're going to be watching here in our eastern counties moving forward. It's the damaging straight line winds of 60 miles an hour or greater, and not to mention the flooding. There's been some flooding near Stidham, and a lot of county emergency managers are really, they're lighting up the switchboards, if you will, saying, we've got problems. There's been too much rain, and it's for much of the state. So if you're traveling anywhere, especially a little bit of a long distance, make sure you are extra careful and you're ready for anything, because there's been a lot of rain in Oklahoma over the last few days, and it's still raining heavily into much of eastern green country as you see these active warnings. But this tornado warning here in Sequoyah County, as we just mentioned, it's lost its circulation characteristics, so the Weather Service will allow that to expire at 1:45. But there's knowing that the threat will still be there. Anywhere in any of these storms that have severe thunderstorm warnings in them, we could get a tornado warning at any moment. So if we do, we'll break back in. But as this tornado warning is set to expire imminently, and the Weather Service has already pretty much given the all clear as far as any tornadic activity for this area, at least in the next few minutes. Another one could develop later in the afternoon, even 5-10 minutes from now, and we'll break back in. Until then, we're going to send you back to programming, knowing that if any new tornado warnings get issued, you'll see them on the bottom of your screen on the crawl, and also we'll break back in to show you where the greatest threat is. Thanks for keeping it here on News Channel 8.